Up next for the Boston Celtics date with the Toronto Raptors, I'm Sierra
Yo,
Goodwill.
big
Here,
game.
Josue Pavon and Bobby Manning, a game that we definitely are all circling on our calendars since the regular season seeding games were announced. Now, the Celtics don't really have any shot at catching them for the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, but definitely still a game where you want to show up and see how you stack up against a potential playoff opponent. What do the Celtics need to prove Friday night?
I think they need to prove that they can stack up with this team because they're going to see them in the playoffs this year. Like I've been praying to the basketball gods for this matchup for a couple years, and now I think we're finally going to get it. Like they're on a collision course, 2-3. They should still stick there after the win with the Celtics tonight. Weaker schedule coming up for the Celtics, so they should be able to secure that spot. And this is a team that is legit. Like people were wondering if they were going to make the playoffs coming into the season, and they have asserted themselves as a team that can smack down the Lakers. So they match up on the wings. They have veteran championship players. So it's a measuring stick game, as we said during the post-game show. This is a challenging matchup for a lot of the Celtics players, even more so than the Miami game. So you got to come out here and prove that you're on that level. And I think people will be feeling differently about the Celtics after some of the ups and downs that they've had early in the schedule.
Yeah, no question, Bobby. This is for bragging rights, right? You know, Toronto, they're hearing all the people talking about the Celtics and Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're hearing everyone just look over what they've been doing all season long and haven't really slowed down, right? We haven't really seen a stretch where they were really, going to in jeopardy of losing a top 3 seed. Like they've just been so consistent, and that's carried into Orlando. I mean, if you look at these top 3 teams right now, Bobby. I mean, the Celtics are. I think you could say they're the weakest one, at least throughout, out of the gate
By
here.
a stretch, yeah.
Yeah, so Toronto Raptors, they're gonna want to go out and put their foot on the Celtics' neck, and I can't wait to see what happens. It's gonna be really important for the Celtics to buckle down defensively. This is a great test for who we talked about before, Robert Williams and Daniel Tice. He's been looking great up front. I want to see these big guys, show how good they can be against a top team like the Raptors. And this is a great chance for them to do that.
And Bobby, I know you want to see the Celtics Raptors matchup for selfish reasons, for entertainment value, but do you think it's a good matchup down the line for the Celtics in terms of just, the Celtics struggle with size, so people don't want to see them stack up against Philly? Is Toronto more favorable for Boston?
Yeah, what I'll be looking for on Friday especially is this lineup that they tried against the Heat that didn't work at all against Miami. The 5 best players were Smart's playing for Tice, and you pretty much have Tatum or Hayward as the tallest one on the court. The Celtics are truly the only team in the NBA that can't play their best 5 players together. I mean, Stevens has said as such, like that lineup doesn't work. It's too small, this and that. So he's only given them like 17 minutes together all year. But most of those minutes were against the Raptors. Like these two teams are very similar, lots of wings. They'll both go extremely small. Gasol is more of a face-up center. So I like the matchup in that sense because when you're able to put your best 5 players on the floor, like you're going to be in a better position to win. That's how the Warriors became champions. So that inherently, I think, compared to the Bucks, makes us a better matchup for the Celtics.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how often Brad goes to that against the Raptors, because I do see him doing that at least at some point throughout the game, and seeing how that lineup responds. Going to be really important to see how they measure up, especially when we're talking about a 7-game series, which I do think is going to happen between these two teams.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
And it's going to be a classic. Yeah, it really is. Listen, these two have been on a collision course for quite some time now, and I do think that this is the future rivalry of the East. Sorry to the Bucks fans out there, but I don't think Giannis is going to be sticking around. That's just my opinion, though. We could say that conversation for another time, but that leaves these two teams to be going at it for the foreseeable future. And both teams have young players that, the future looks bright for them, and it looks like they're not going anywhere, whether we're talking about Tatum on the Celtics or Siakam playing for the Raptors.
Plenty to look forward to in Friday's matchup between the Celtics and the Raptors. One of those things, can the bench have any semblance of a performance as they did on Wednesday night? Because they're going to definitely need that out of that second unit. We'll have all of your Celtics content leading up to that game, after the game, on our website at clnsmedia.com and on our YouTube channel at Celtics All Access.